this is David Bartholomew's from Griffin Alliance DJs. I've been asked to make a video on how to find out if the DJ that you're dealing with is the right DJ for you at your wedding. So please do listen up, and also you'll notice that this movie is quite a lot longer than most of the movies that I make. So I'm going to try and get to the really key points at the start, but also there's a prize at the end. So if you get bored halfway through, just fast forward through to the end, and just in the last minute or two, I'll talk to you about how you can win a prize. The prize being either an hour with me at Mission Control to run through your wedding so that I can help you with your wedding on the day, or the other prize is for one of the DJs from our team to actually be your host at your wedding reception. So two great prizes to choose from there, and I'll let you know how to do that at the end of the movie. So one of the things that you'll notice me when I talk about the person that's going to be helping you from the DJ point of view at your wedding is that I usually call that person the host, not the DJ. It depends on the skill level, but one of the things I'd encourage you to think about is that there are different levels of skill in terms of the person who's going to help you with the music and the entertainment and the hosting of your day. So, for instance, I don't consider myself a wedding DJ, I consider myself a host. So someone who helps you and stands beside you every step of the way, right through the organising process, and also on the day, helping to coordinate and get things organised so everything runs smoothly and you can get on with the job of being the bride. So in terms of talking about who might be a suitable DJ for your wedding day, one of the things that I'd like to clear up first and foremost is who might not be your most suitable wedding DJ, and these might be people that you've already talked to. So I'm not saying that these people are definitely not and these people are bad people, but I want you to consider some things that you might not have first considered. So the first person who might not be the most suitable DJ for your wedding reception is a club DJ. So your favourite club DJ is awesome and they play awesome tunes and they mix fantastically and you love all the tunes that they play, but that DJ may not be qualified to host an event for 5 hours from start to finish, deal with all the sound gear, and also might not understand how to work with other suppliers at a wedding to make sure that the event works seamlessly. So although they might be an awesome DJ, they might not be your best choice of host. The second person is the person that the company that gave you the lowest quote sends. That DJ may not be suitable. They may, but they may not. And the thing to consider here is that there's an intense amount of competition in terms of different people vying for your business when they supply you for your wedding. So there is a temptation for a lot of companies to win your business by supplying someone who is underqualified. So the lowest quote is not always your best option. Once again, it's a matter of you really feeling it out and seeing if you're comfortable and certain that this company is able to supply you with what you need for the most important day of your life. The third situation is there might have been someone who was an awesome salesperson who DJs on the weekend. You've chatted to them on the phone and you're all excited and they're excited. This person might be an excellent salesperson, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're an experienced host for your wedding day. So once again, they might be suitable, but once again, you might be wanting to be asking them some diagnostic questions to find out if they're really good at making you excited or whether they're going to have the skills to deal with all the logistics and also operating as a host during your day. The final area I would ask you to be careful, and this is something that a lot of people don't consider, is a DJ that one of your friends recommends. Now, this is not to say that your friend is a bad person or that the person they're recommending is a bad DJ, but what I'd like you to consider is that your friend might not be a wedding expert. They might not have sampled hundreds of DJs and figured out which ones are the best for a wedding. This might be a DJ that they go to a club and see who's awesome in terms of their mixing, but might not be qualified. And the other thing to consider is that the DJ that the person recommends, you don't know how many things that they've compared, and also it's not their butt on the line, it's your butt on the line. So they don't have the same investment in getting the decision exactly right. So now that we've had a bit of a conversation about what sorts of DJs might not be the best choice for you as your host on your wedding day, the next thing for us to look at is, well, why am I, David Bartholomew, so qualified and putting myself out there and telling you this is the questions that you should ask or these are the things that you should consider? The reason that they've asked me to do this video is that I've dealt with over 500 DJs who have actually got interviewed through the whole process and then put out onto work with events. Not all of those DJs have come through and come up to the grade of doing a wedding, but I've dealt with more DJs and sorted through and sifted through more DJs than almost any person in the country to try and figure out who I can actually trust to work with our clients. And so you're talking about, nearly 500 DJs that have come through that have actually been qualified and started working up through our system in order for us to arrive at the 20 wedding DJs that we have now. And we've delivered over 5,000 events. So we've had a chance to, first of all, say, well, this person sounds like they're the business, but now let's actually see whether they can perform. And we've actually asked them a lot of different questions So I've actually had a really good chance to figure out which questions correlate to a DJ being good when they answer a certain way. So a really simple question that I can ask a DJ pretty much over the phone and screen out maybe 50% of people that have come to me and say, hey Dave, I'm this awesome DJ, I want to come and DJ at weddings for you, is I ask them, will you play requests? And it's so interesting because more than half the time I get a yes or a no. And for me, both of those answers are actually unsatisfactory. So if the DJ goes, yeah, I'll play whatever people want, then what that tells me is that they're probably a bit inexperienced or they're not necessarily aware of their role as a host. So there might be a club DJ who's just used to playing off a playlist or just has only one style of music that they play, but then they'll just play, they don't really understand, and they'll just play whatever people want if they request songs that are outside their circle of expertise. The other side, which even concerns me even more, is when a DJ says, oh no, I don't play requests, I know what people want to dance to. And for me, that's a real flag that we've got a show pony there. Maybe really, really good for a nightclub, crazy DJ to get people fired up. But at a wedding or an event, this is a DJ that can be quite dangerous because they can cause conflict with the other suppliers and cause unrest. And also, in a worst case scenario, there's someone that can actually start an argument with you on your wedding day. So what I'm looking for when I ask a person, will they play requests? The DJ comes back to me and says, Dave, that's not a simple question. I'd like a bit more clarification, please. Are you talking about playing requests at a wedding or an event or a nightclub? And also, what are the circumstances? What part of the night is it? And do I have any guidelines? Have I been allowed to play requests by the host? When a DJ starts to drill down and ask for some more clarification about what I mean about that question, what that tells me is this DJ has some nuance and some experience and understands that that's not an obviously answered question without further information. Another quick question that can be really diagnostic is, tell me about your last wedding. So first of all, listening to the speed and the recall of the response. So if the DJ's going, and looking all around and isn't really quite sure, or also if they become a little bit defensive and go, and you can see them going back inside their head and they're a little bit jittery with their answers, that tells me that either they're not DJing a heck of a lot at weddings, or secondly, that their last wedding didn't actually go very well, or they've got some reservations because some of their weddings haven't gone very well. So if they're really recalling things really vibrantly and really excited and saying, oh yeah, my bride so-and-so, naming them by name, did this and did that, and the venue manager asked me about this, and they're really getting excited and vibrant, that's a DJ who's probably DJing pretty regularly at weddings. And secondly, a DJ who's a good communicator that establishes good relationships with brides, venue managers, suppliers, and all that sort of stuff. So when that person is, really excited and really, fantastic and excited and really going for it with that question, that's a good sign. But really this question builds into a second question, which is, once they've kind of finished talking, you can then say to them, well, could I please get the number of the bride and of the venue manager? And if they say, oh yeah, absolutely, I'll email it through for you straight away, then that once again is a really, really good sign. Whereas if they say, oh, okay, I'll send it through, and then you follow up and the person gets a bit awkward on the phone, then there you've done your research and you've got your answer about that DJ. So another question to ask is, will you MC and run all the formalities for me? This question is really interesting because a DJ, if they're experienced and confident hosting weddings and events, will become quite excited and say, oh yeah, if you want me to, I can do that. You don't have to get me to do it, but I'm really, really happy to do it. Do you have anyone else that wants to talk? I can help them and show them how to use the mic and all that sort of stuff. So you're looking for that sort of a response where the person is really happy to help, but isn't kind of forcing themselves on you and saying, I have to be the MC. Someone like this is someone who's really experienced, really comfortable, laid back, who really wants to help make the day be everything it can be, but doesn't want to be the star of the show. So they've got the confidence, but they don't have the arrogance. Now, another thing that's really interesting about this question is, if you're going through a company that supplies a lot of different DJs and they've sent you a quote, and then you say, oh, I need my DJ to MC, and they say, oh, that's going to cost extra, for me, that is a really big warning sign, because like I said before earlier in the video, a lot of companies are really competing really hard for your business. And if the company says that it's extra for a DJ that will MC, that means that they're willing to supply you with an MC who doesn't know how to host your wedding. And for me, that's not the level that's going to really take you and carry you through the whole day. So this is a company that's willing to compromise the quality of the DJ they supply in order to win your business. So that's something to be really, really careful of. So here's an interesting question to ask DJs, and it's interesting because you don't necessarily have to know the answer or understand it in order to get a really diagnostic feel on the DJ. So ask the DJ what equipment they're going to use and see what they say. So a lot of DJs will start talking about all numbers and letters and all that sort of stuff and going, oh, my gear is state of the art and it's the clearest sound system in the entire universe and, stars come out of my lights and all these sorts of things. But A really experienced DJ will generally not talk about how awesome their gear is. They'll start to talk to you about a thing called redundancy. And a DJ who's got a lot of experience understands that the clearest sound system isn't the best sound system. The best sound system is the sound system that doesn't stop working during your wedding dance. So, things get knocked over, people get excited, things get wet, things happen at weddings. We can't control everything. An experienced DJ has a lot of experience with dealing with things that you don't expect, power surges, knockout speakers, all sorts of things can happen. It's our job to make sure you never even know that that stuff's happening. So a really good DJ will say, oh, I've got this system and I bring a spare one, or I've got a backup speaker, or I bring 2 sets of decks, or I've got a spare laptop. They'll be talking about all the spares or the things that they can do to help you out if things go wrong. That's called redundancy. So that's the thing to be listening for with this question is an experienced DJ who's really on the ball with doing wedding events where they're moving their sound system all around is going to talk to you about redundancy. They're not going to talk to you about how awesome their specific gear is in comparison with other equipment. So the final question to ask really for me once you're heading to the end of the phone call is to ask the DJ, well, what happens from here? What happens now? So DJs can be really awesome technically, or they can be really great entertainers, but in terms of being a host, there also needs to be a level of process orientation and organisation that's really important. So your best entertainer isn't always your best host. So when you ask this question, what happens from here, the sort of answers that I will be listening for is, I'm going to send you an email, I've written all of this down and it's all in a spreadsheet, and I'm going to send it through to you, and I'm going to send you a list of things to fill out and some more information to send back to me, and my bank details are on there if you need to make any transactions, and if you've got any questions, my email address and my phone number are there. All that sort of stuff. So they're going to be talking to you about their process and what they'd like you to do from here leading up to the wedding day. They've got the steps in their mind already. It doesn't mean that you have to use their steps, but what you're listening for here is this person is process-oriented and organised. And so when you hear that, that tells you that this DJ is not only going to be a good entertainer, but they're also going to be able to stick to and work with the running sheet that you give them, and that they're going to be process-oriented throughout the day for you. So let's just imagine that you've asked the DJ all of the questions that I've outlined above and you're still not sure. Well, if you're in that situation, I'm really glad that you've watched until this point, because there is a question that you can ask, one question which is actually more diagnostic than all of the previous questions put together, but it's not a nice question to ask. But the thing is, this is your wedding day. You only get one. So if you're still unsure, here's a really interesting question that you can ask a DJ, which is going to give you a visceral response, which is very, very going to quickly tell you whether the DJ is on the ball or whether they're going to lead you astray. So the question that I ask DJs when I'm really screening hard is the following question. I did a bit of follow-up research after we last spoke, and I actually connected with a bride who had some pretty bad things to say about their experience with you. So what do you have to say about that, and what is your process for dealing with brides when they're not happy with your performance? Really harsh question, I know, and this is not necessarily a question to ask your DJ unless you really need to know. I really need to know because my entire living stands or falls on the basis of the questions that I ask DJs on the way in, and then making sure that we keep the systems and processes going on the way through. But like I said, this is your wedding day. You only get one wedding day, so don't be shy to ask the question if you need to. Now, when you ask this question, the DJ is going to pretty much every time do one of two things. It's either going to be this or it's going to be this. And there's pretty much no in between. So really what you're looking for is that initial response, and that gives you a huge amount of information. So a lot of DJs, when I ask this question, they get really defensive. They either deny it just outright, they deflect and start talking about something else if they don't like conflict, or they accuse. They either accuse me of being a suspicious so-and-so, or they accuse the bride of being not really a bride, someone that's just out to get them. So this is this response. So be watching for that. If you get that response, this is a DJ actually reliving negative experiences of ruining brides' weddings in the past. And so all of that negative emotion is coming up, and it's there for you to see plain as day. Now the other response that you get is this. Whoa, what? You really got and they're going to be really confused, really bewildered. Now, a DJ who is experienced, who's doing a lot of weddings, is going to be getting feedback from brides and asking them, did they do a good job? And so when you see this surprise, generally, it's going to be coupled with a few things. They're going to be asking you and saying, oh, would you be willing to connect me with that bride? If they don't want to talk to me, I understand, but I would really, really like to talk to them because I didn't know. Could you give me some more information? What did I do? What happened? And they're going to be looking for feedback from you, and also the ability, if possible, to connect with this person who they seemingly have wronged. And when you see that outpouring of forward emotion and this real compassion, what that tells you is this DJ is genuinely surprised and they're not used to messing things up. And secondly, that this DJ really cares about their brides and they really want to reconnect with this bride and apologise for whatever it is that they did wrong. So really harsh question, but really seriously, you'll either get this or you'll get this. And it's really, really diagnostic. So don't be asking that question to every DJ because it's, when, people try and, because I've told people about this ultimate question and they then, come back and ask me the question. And it breaks my heart, and I'm talking to them and I'm like saying, you've got to tell me who this bride is. And then they come through and say, I'm just kidding, I just wanted to see how you reacted. And I'm like, oh man, how could you do that to me? Like, you just killed me. So it's a really harsh question, but really, really diagnostic. So there you have it. Some really diagnostic questions, some really nice, some pretty harsh to ask DJs in order for you to figure out whether or not this DJ is right for you and then to feel comfortable in the decision that you've made. Now, I've promised you that you can win in this video, and I'm going to keep that promise now. So the first prize is that one person who submits a prize entry will win a session with me to actually sit down and figure out all the details for your wedding and for me to give you some help and advice to make sure that your wedding day runs as smoothly as it can. And the second prize is someone will also win one of the members of our team to help them as the host for their wedding reception. So two really cool prizes. If you want to win, this is what you need to do. Get your phone, and when you're with your fiancé, sit them down and say, I want you to help me win a prize. And what you want to do with them is record them. They've got to do a 15-second video. It can be a little bit short, a bit longer, but around about a 15-second video. And they've got to tell me why they think you are the most deserving person of having support and help with your wedding day from the best providers in the state. So at the start of this video, I promised that those that watched to the end would have a chance to win a prize. Two prizes, in fact. The first prize is a prize to meet up with me and have a conversation to get my expertise in terms of helping you plan out and make sure that your wedding day is a complete success. And the second prize, very, very cool, is to have one of our team represent you as your DJ and host for your wedding reception. So in terms of how to win, this is what I need you to do. When you've got your phone with you and you're with your fiancé, you need to actually record a video of them. And what I want to hear in around about 15 seconds is the reason that they think you more than anyone deserves to have the support of the best hosting company in South Australia for the DJ for your wedding. So get that video when you've got it the way that you like it, then you can either send it to me by text message or you can send it to my email address. So then I'll display the ones that are the best and then we'll pick two winners as well. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it's really been helpful for you. Lots of tips and ideas in terms of questions to ask. The thing I'd really like you to come back to think about at the end of this movie is that, like I said, your host, in terms of all the suppliers you're working with, stands next to you and supports you for more time than anyone else on the day. So making a really good choice with this is very, very important. So this has been David Bartholomew's from Griffin Alliance DJs. Feel free to call or text me, email me anytime. It's my full-time job to help you every step of the way with your wedding, so don't be shy to be in touch. Thank you for listening.